Hi, I'm Valeria and I'm an artist. I welcome you on my channel. In this video, I'd like to show you the painting process of my most recent piece and share some thoughts about it. So basically, you're going to see me figuring out how to actually paint digitally. I am mostly a traditional artist, so digital painting has always seemed to me as fascinating, powerful, yet very scary creature. I didn't really know at the start how to approach it and was feeling kind of lost since the process is quite different from the traditional art. So a few paintings I did ended up looking more on the stylized side, which totally isn't a bad thing. It's just not the art style I am used to. With this painting, I intended to push out my understanding of the digital art and make the final piece somewhat similar to what I make with traditional materials. So I set some goals for myself. The first one was to get used to working digitally with layers, tools, brushwork, etc. The next one was to try to transfer my traditional style into digital. And the last but not least was to just enjoy the process and get the desired result, which is also really important. Just for the note, I am using iPad Pro 9.7 inch with 32 GB of memory, and I believe it's from the year 2016 or 2017, I'm not sure, and I'm working on Procreate. So returning to the process, I made a sketch which wasn't really that hard. I wanted to capture the head angle and the proportions correctly, so I still need to work hard on it, but it wasn't the hardest part. After that, I moved to the background. It was really important to get it done first, to understand the lighting and further on work on the character in the already existing environment, since it will affect basically everything in the piece. Just in case you're wondering, I am drawing a character from Honkai Star Rail. This is Heng, Imbibitor Lunae. I really like him, so I decided to paint a frame from his ultimate, which looks absolutely stunning, and I wanted to try repaint it in my own vision. The background wasn't that complicated, so I moved to the character pretty fast. I put the bubble base layer on autolog and started filling it with some base colors. I didn't really pay attention to the tones at that point because it was just all about getting the basic colors done. I didn't follow any specific guides on digital painting and just used some knowledge I got from observation and just watching videos on YouTube. After the base was done, I moved to other layers. Each one I set on the clipping mask attached to the base. On those layers I started putting some shadows, details and rendering. I had different layers for the face, the hair, the horns, rim lighting and some blue reflections. I really tried to work on the painting as a whole and not to focus on a particular spot. However, as you can see, I have spent quite some time painting that eye because I wanted to capture that correctly and I wanted it to look effective. So yeah, I think at that point I quite overdid that because it is really important to focus on the piece as a whole and not to spend too much time drawing that one eye because it may hurt the result as a whole. The painting won't look complete, I guess. I think that understanding how layers work and how different modes work is really important while painting in digital, so that's exactly what I try to understand here. When I used some shadows, I made new layers and painted those shadows using purple and blue. Then I set them on overlay and played with the opacity. and when I felt like it looked okay, I merged the layers. Throughout the whole piece, I really tried to make vibrant colors to make them look good and not muddy. I think that the muddiness was a big issue at the beginning, so I hope I managed to fix that. And oh my god, just look how different the colors are on the Procreate time-lapse and on the shots I made with my phone. Literally, the phone makes them a lot lighter, which is kind of funny. Actually, if we talk about the vibrancy of colors and deep shadows, I am absolutely fascinated by the outcome. I really believe that I wouldn't be able to achieve this result in my traditional work, especially with the portrait and especially in the amount of time I have spent on this painting. Not to mention the really strong and quite intricate lighting source. And why do I always choose these kind of lighting scenarios is a mystery. What I mean to say is that I'm just not that experienced in portraits, so making this piece would still be quite difficult for me, even if I worked with more familiar material to me. Honestly, I am so happy with how the rim lighting turned out. I think I am so happy with this just because I have never done anything exactly like this before, so I really didn't have any kind of expectations. Basically, all of this campaign was purely experimental. So to make this lighting, I also made a separate layer for it, set on the clipping mask, and then I set it to the add mode, and it made it look like it was glowing from the inside, which I think is really amazing. So another tool that actually came in really handy was the liquefying tool. I used it multiple times to adjust the proportions, and it was really fun. And I don't think I mentioned that, but basically for the whole piece I mostly used just the basic round brush. Then I have moved to the hair, and this is when something really weird happened. As usual, I added some color to make reflections. I blurred them, and when I wanted to add some shadows, the shadows weren't shadowing. Like, you see, the brush was kind of pushing the previous paint, and it was just really weird. I was so confused. I decided to move to the eye and add some glow just to do something else. Then I figured out the hair. I had to repaint it, and I'm so glad I did because the hair looks so good right now. So if you have any idea of what exactly might have happened, feel free to tell me in the comments. So then I was basically already on the finish line. I added some final touches to the hair, made some adjustment to the outfit, added details, and after that the piece was done. And honestly, I am so incredibly happy with how it turned out, just oh my god. So feel free to comment how do you like it. I am also open to any kind of advice. I hope my rambling wasn't too overwhelming or chaotic and had at least some kind of a logic. While making this painting, I definitely became a lot more confident in my skills, and of course I still have a long way to go and a lot to learn, but it is something. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in next video. Bye.